Welcome folks, this is the final result we are after, a clean professional headshot with beautiful skin, defined shape and perfect separation from the background. But getting here isn't about one magic light, it's about building your lighting step by step, just like in a real photography studio. In this lesson, I'll show you my workflow starting with a single loop light, then adding environmental fill, fixing dark edges, and finally adding rim light for separation. Let's light this face. Just a quick note before we start. You can download this scene file and follow along if you are enrolled in our 21-hour-long Redshift Masterclass course. The link to check that out is in the description below. Here is our starting point. A simple head model, neutral background, and no lights yet. I'm shooting with an 85mm lens. Why 85? It is the sweet spot for portraits, no distortion, natural perspective, wide enough to feel natural, long enough to compress the features flatteringly. Now let's start building our studio one light at a time. I'm using this incredible head model, which is the digital double of Luis by Isco. It features hundreds of thousands of individual hair strands, which can take a while to calculate. So let me go ahead and hide the hair strands for now so we can get much faster real-time feedback in our render view. Let's start a render in the render view and add a new area light. I'll name it key light. Now to make positioning easy, I'll add a target tag to the light and link it to this target null object, which is placed exactly at the center of the head model. First, enable normalize intensity. This is a crucial setting because it decouples the physical size of the light from its energy output, meaning changing its size won't unexpectedly blow out our exposure. Now let's increase its exposure by 5.5 stops for now and set its size to be around 10 centimeters to get sharper shadows. Now we can position this key light in a classic loop lighting setup. In studio photography, that means placing the light about 25 to maybe 40-45 degrees to the side of the camera, slightly above eye level and angled down towards the subject's face. I'll adjust the position until I get a small loop-shaped shadow falling from the nose onto the cheek, curving downward and slightly to the side. That characteristic shadow is exactly where the name comes from. If you are following along, the exact position of this light is -43 on X, 31 on Y, and -35 on Z. To get a more natural, organic reflection in the eyes, what photographers call catch lights, I'll change the light shape from a rectangle to a disc. Loop lighting is flattering for most face shapes. It adds dimension without being too dramatic. It's your go-to for natural, approachable portraits. Notice that I want to keep that nose shadow relatively sharp and connected to the nose. That is why I'm using a small 10 cm by 10 cm light source. The physical size of a light dictates the softness of its shadow. If I increase the size to be 20 by 20 centimeters, the nose shadow becomes much softer and the transition line on the cheek loses its crisp definition. For this specific look, let's keep it punchy at 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. Now currently what makes this render look unnatural are these pitch black shadows. While an infinite contrast ratio like this could be cool for a very moody, dramatic setup, in the real world, light doesn't just come from one source. It bounces off white studio walls, ceilings, and reflector flags, creating a natural ambient fill. We can instantly replicate this with a dome light. Let's add a simple dome light to the scene and load this Artist Workshop HDRI that you can download for free from polyhaven.com. I don't want this to overpower the key light, so I'll set its intensity to just 0.1 and set its rotation to -55 degrees. Look at the difference immediately. The shadows are no longer pure black, they are lifted. giving us a natural photographic contrast ratio. Now, because we are using a complex subsurface scattering material on the skin to simulate real human flesh, we are getting this nasty, dark, occluded edges underneath the chin and the jawline where the light is struggling to penetrate. To solve that, we can employ a technique similar to clamshell lighting, adding a soft fill light from the bottom to act like a bounce reflector. So let me copy our area light. Name it fill light. Place it low, pointing up to light the subject from beneath. The exact position that I use here is -34 on X, -49 on Y, and -31 on Z. Now, to ensure this light acts as a soft wash rather than a harsh beam, I'll increase its size to 25 centimeters and lower the exposure to around 4. And just like that, we got rid of those nasty dark edges and smoothed out the jawline. Now let's turn on the hair strands to see what the whole composition looks like. Now this is looking incredibly nice. We just need one final touch, a rim light, also known as a hair light or kicker, to separate our subject from the dark background. Let's hide the hair strands one more time for faster feedback in the viewport. I'm going to go ahead and copy the fill light and rename it to rim light. Place it right behind the subject above the head, positioned on the opposite side from our key light to create cross illumination. The exact position for this is 20 centimeters on X, 61 on Y, and 93 on Z. I want this highlight to wrap beautifully around the silhouette, so I'll increase its size massively to 125 centimeters for a very soft wrapping rim light. Now let's push the exposure up to 9.5 stop to give it that bright, luminous pop. And let's turn the hair strands back on. Look at that. That's the magic of a rim light. It lifts the subject completely off the background, giving them a distinct sense of depth, scale, and presence. And that is our final portrait lighting setup. Let's review exactly what we built. Step 1. The key light in the classic loop position gives us our main form, volume, and that signature nose shadow. Step 2. The dome light adds our studio ambience, lifting the global shadows to a natural, realistic level. Step 3. The bottom fill light acts as a bounce card, fixing those dark chin edges caused by the subsurface scattering. And step 4. The rim light separates our subject from the background, adding that final three-dimensional depth and polish. Each light has exactly one job. Together they create a cohesive result that looks like it comes straight from a high-end professional photography studio. If you want to master Redshift from the ground up, check out our 20-hour-long Redshift Masterclass course. The link is in the description below. If you learned something today, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It was Kamel Khezri from Mograph Plus. I'll see you in the next one.